G'day and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about removing your petrol tank from your BMW R9T. Now why would you want to do that, you might be asking? Well, one of the main reasons is simply you've flattened the battery and it's completely stuffed and you need to install a new one. And to do that, believe it or not, you're going to have to remove your petrol tank. Another reason might be you decided you want to tweak the bike a bit more, make it run a bit more smoothly, be a bit more responsive, and you want to install a piggyback module to your ECU, something like the Rapid Bike Evo or the Power Commander. In that case, you're going to have to remove your tank also. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the steps that you need to take to actually accomplish getting your tank off your bike. So let's get cracking. Now the first thing you're going to need to do if you want to actually repair a tank like my one, I've got a dent in it, is you're going to have to remove all of the fuel out of the bike. Before I go into the details of how you actually remove the fuel from your petrol tank, I should actually say for most of us it's actually an optional step and you might not need to do it. Now the only time you want to remove all of the fuel from your tank is if you've damaged it like I've got 2 dents in the tank unfortunately. If you're not having to do that because the tank's in perfect condition, hopefully it is, you will be only removing the tank to get to a battery or to do some cabling underneath. So what you want to do then is at least remove sufficient fuel so that the tank is actually light enough to handle. So once you've got the inlet pipe of the pump inserted into the tank and the outlet pipe inserted into the container that's going to catch the fuel that you're pumping out, make sure just before you start pumping that you put on some protective gloves, preferably automotive gloves that are suited for handling petrol and other chemicals, and also ensure you grab yourself some safety goggles. These will protect your eyes from any splatter from the fuel during the pumping process. Now that we've removed the rear seat brackets, the next step for the 2014 to the 2016 models at least of the R9T is to remove the side cover here. This side cover covers the diagnostic adapter, which is actually mounted directly to the tank and needs to be unclipped. Out of interest, all the R9Ts after the 2016 model have their diagnostic adapter under the seat. For those of us that have a 214 to a 216 BMW R9T, we've just successfully removed the left-hand cover of the diagnostic plug and pulled the diagnostic plug free from the mounting bracket on the petrol tank. Now in the next step, regardless of which BMW R9T you've got, we need to remove the snorkel cover, and that's easily done by removing the 2 bolts that hold the aluminium cover in place. These 2 bolts here. But there is a slight difference and I'll get to that in a minute. Now just before you pull the cover right off, make sure you have a think about what year model your R9T is. If it's a 214 to a 216, you need to pull the cover towards the front of your bike. If it's a 217 or newer, then you pull the cover out from the side of the bike towards you. This is a 214 model, so I'm going to pull it towards the front of the bike. And the reason for that is on the BMW R9T, the 214 to the 216, the actual mounting point faces forwards. whereas on a 217 or newer model, it actually faces inwards. You'll notice when you're actually removing the bolts that behind the bolts of the aluminium cover are some nylon washers. They're really important to keep and retain for when you reassemble it, because that's what's stopping that bolt from chewing into the side of the soft aluminium cover. So once you've successfully done that, we next need to move on to removing the Diebstahl Warnanlage. And you'll probably know what that is if you've got one installed, because you've probably seen the DWA light come up on your dashboard at some stage, representing that you've got a flat battery in your anti-theft unit. So we need to remove the anti-theft unit, and on the 214 to the 216 models, all we need is a Torx T25. But on models from 17 onwards, you'll need to be a little bit more careful when you're removing it, and make sure you lift the unit and wiggle it and pull it back towards you as you pull it out. You'll see the tabs that it's attached to underneath as you do that. You can remove the ignition cover, and that's a simple case of just lifting it on the sides and pulling out gently and giving a bit of a wiggle. So next up, we're going to start undoing the bolts on the tank itself, and we're going to start with the T-Torx 35 at the rear to loosen the bolts off but not take them all the way out. We're just going to loosen them off enough so that we can actually pivot the tank once we take out the bolts to the front, which are T-Torx 45. It's enough just to give it a little bit of give when you're lifting up the tank. And then over here at the front, this one here. So now we've loosened off the rear bolts on the tank and we've taken out the front bolts. We're ready to lift the tank up. But what we'll do is we'll place a little piece of wood under the front of the tank to protect the frame. So that was pretty easy even on my own. But remember, I emptied all the fuel out of my tank, so if you haven't emptied all the fuel out of your tank, then consider asking a friend or a spouse to hold the tank while you place the piece of wood under there. Once you've done that, what you might want to do, which is optional, is put some rags on the frame and tape them up just in case you knock that piece of wood out of place and your tank comes down. But right now we'll put some rags under the tank just in case some fuel comes out, because next we need to remove the fuel delivery lines. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention is you will need a flathead Phillips screwdriver, and you need that to release the two electrical connectors that are under the tank. One connector is for the fuel pump and the other one is for the fuel level. Now on models that are 217 and newer, they only have one connector. Also, there's two tubes at the back, one's for the breather and one's for the fuel overflow. Both of those need to be disconnected as well, but if you're having problems pulling them off from under the tank, don't pull too hard because you might actually slip and cut your hand like I did. What you need to do is actually pull it in through the frame, leaving it attached to the tank, and then it'll dangle under the tank, so when you lift the tank off, just get someone to guide it to make sure it doesn't get caught in anything when you try to pull the tank away from the bike. So now we're ready to remove the piece of wood and drop the tank down so that we can remove the rear bolt. To do that though, we need to make sure the fuel delivery lines are out of the way, as are the breather and the overflow pipe, so the tank doesn't crush them. And we need to make sure we've got some cloth on the frame to protect the frame. So now you just lift up the tank, remove the piece of wood and gently lever it down to rest on the cloth that you've put on to cover the frame. we've removed the fuel tank, and now we've got direct access to our battery and our air filter, and if we're planning to install a Power Commander or a Rapid Bike Evo or something like that, it's really easy to run the cables through, and there's nothing in our way. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button down below and feel free to subscribe, but if you see that DWA light coming up on your dashboard recently, then you won't want to miss out on this video right here.